Hey, everybody.
What
Can you
up,
hear me?
yo?
Yes, I checked that
I heard
earlier,
you and
actually.
everything. Hello. Greetings.
Ha.
Greetings, and welcome back to Occultist Anonymous as we once more venture forth, sailing off into a sea of stars.
Yes, please.
Before we get started, as always, we want to make sure that we thank all of our supporters out there, as well as Real20 for giving us shout outs and everything. And special thanks to all of our current patrons on Patreon. We've got Adele, Alice, Al. Nope. Wait, no. Yes. Sorry. I second guessed myself. Okay. Adele, Alice, Al, Alexander, Alpha Wolf, arbitrary patron name Bernie, Buck, Chris, Doc, Emil, Ethan, George. I'm the real 06. James, John, Josh, Camo, Catfeathers, Klaus, Melissa, Milo V3, Moku, Mozart D minor, Other Guy, Perry, Foog, Porter, Puppeteer, Roar, Riding Roman Robots, and Revolt Regarding Repugnant Rain. Riafio, Ryan, Sean, Shiksara, Thomas, Toast, Vincent, Vortex Falcon, Y Gender when you conserve the Iron Pyramid, Sultan, and Aethernalis. Thank you all, as always. What did we do last time, guys?
We finished up what we started in Numenera, and we beat up a big bad doggy.
Yeah, we
Bad
exactly.
dog.
Bad dog. You didn't even talk to it to see if it was talking dog.
Mm-mm,
It just whooped its ass on the site.
We just assumed that conversation would not
Strolled
be
in,
fruitful.
said you're in the wrong neighborhood.
To be
motherfucker,"
fair,
and then-
we assumed based on prior interactions with this thing.
that's fair.
Yes, it was legitimate prejudice.
I don't even know if prejudice is the right word. There.
Yeah,
That's the term.
Yeah,
That's the
a
term
wild
for
term. That's a wild
Yep.
term.
it. Mm-hmm.
Then we came back, and we had a little bit of
like a fallout sort of thing happening.
Yes.
right because we had Saraia stuck in Diana.
Diana, yes. There seemed to be some sort of infusing, takeover, melding, meshing, infection, something like that happening with the entrails of
Huh? Nothing. Carry on. What?
I was gonna make fun of you for having one brain cell about and it's always venom, but I also suffer from this thing. Not the specific thing, but if there's a strong lady, or if I can hit things real hard, those are my two brain cells. And if I can do both of those things in Baldur's Gate 3, which again, everyone watching here should be very grateful that we are not currently playing.
Three of us at least are playing Baldur's Gate, not right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so we left off with a little bit of the infected mech situation, was Saraia being trapped in there for a moment, or a few, maybe 30 minutes, with a full shutdown, not feeling anything from the mech, and then being told that on future missions she will not be piloting Diana.
Right.
Which was given just as a flat out order kind of thing. And then upon arrival back to Neo Elysia, the floating city in the sort of
Pacific.
Yeah, I just wanted to be more specific. Pacific. It's it does float and move. It has engines and things, but generally it's relatively within the Malaysian Sea.
Oh, cool.
Near Singapore and north of Australia and stuff like that.
It's in Australasia.
Yep.
Awesome.
Specifically, I can't remember if I said it on screen, but one of the leaders on the Council of Elders, the Arapagos, who goes by the name of Astikos,
Mhm.
is the son of the man who donated a lot of his resource extraction empire in Australia towards the building of the city. So essentially, I can look directly in the camera and say like, oh, the survival of humanity has come out of the extraction of the resources from the global south and leftover remnants of imperialism. So we're doing a thing here, okay? Just want to be very clear about what I'm saying. Like the another time. There's a funny James Cameron thing I can tell you off camera.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, we got back to the city and there was a sort of a bit of not unrest, but
a brouhaha, a political brouhaha.
sort of a political little ruffled feathers going on between the factions that support Arsinoe, who is the former lead of engine development, and Xantippe, who is the head of the sort of religious wing of the Neo-Elysian
The
government.
oracles and
all is in charge of pilot selection and all the oracles and stuff like that. It is not public knowledge the process by which pilots are selected. There is discussion about the fact that there are people that serve as oracles, but it like a lot of people just think that it's like
a testing.
Yeah, just
how
like
are
a
your
testing
skills
thing.
kind of
But
thing.
It's actually a like religious ceremony, and there's like as you all three went through it, you would have felt like there was something happening. And a lot of that stems from this from the very strange things that happen when you use Promethium. Various different ways.
Do we know of any situations where a chosen pilot was not able to bond with any of the engines?
I don't know that it would have been talked about, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because it does, I mean, you are essentially part of a military order, right? And so publishing things like that, especially when there's a bit of like celebrity worship of the pilots and stuff like that. It's this and I think you all have been doing this long enough to start to have had some of these like really weird interactions of like, people are like putting their faith on you to protect them, but also like, going back and like behind your back and like selling your likeness on things because there's like celebrity culture, and then like, but then also there's like
bless my baby.
This undercurrent of like, there's always this undercurrent of like, so and so is going to go the distance and actually make it 20 missions.
Yeah.
The unheard of record, right?
Yeah. It's serious.
So, I don't know if you actually did it last time, but two things or several things reset every session. You reset all your links.
That's right.
And all your stress, provided that you're not in Eclipse.
I didn't reset my links. I forgot about that. Only had one.
Then we can jump right back into the cycle of play. And let's find out what sort of horrific stressors are in your life today.
Yeah.
And this time we're back on the in the city, and you have your sort of gilded cage of existence as a pilot and a celebrity and stuff like that. So I kind of took the reins last time, but if you have ideas for what a good scene of a stressor in your life is in these kind of things, feel free to volunteer, and we can dig in a little bit more if you want to.
I'm gonna go ahead because obligations is always the lowest stat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and roll that.
Yeah, whichever of your sun, moon, or stars is the lowest. All right. A 3 for Malphus. So 3 stress because it's 6 minus your result.
I'll think over what may be going on.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and knock out the mechanically get everybody.
Mhm.
Okay, sure. You got it. There we go. Once again.
Bruh.
I should stop rolling sun.
And Saraia's coming up hot with a 5.
Everybody doing fine.
All right, so
Janice.
1 stress for Saraia, 5 stress for Janice.
Janice having a problematic time.
Yeah, it's a little rough out here.
Yeah, it's the wrong timeline.
Yeah, going to a new timeline is a little tough.
Mm-hmm. Not synchronizing well.
Yeah,
there we go.
No, I know exactly what Malphus is dealing with. Malphus is dealing with the fallout from the message that he got last time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everybody's off to enjoy themselves, and Malphus is doing the whole in a trench coat in the rain, at a probably unmarked grave. Or actually, no, let's be real, we're on this thing.
It's off the side of the city.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to dig into creating a form of execution that this thing goes to, but you're on a big ship city. It's buried at sea.
That's how it works.
Everybody.
Yep.
So you're just doing a sad boy. There's a bit of a typhoon. You're just having a little sad boy moment.
Oh yeah.
crying next to the sea.
It's okay. Nobody can see me crying. It's in the rain. Yeah.
That's right.
He's very likely to go, hey, I'm going to go find somebody to punch again.
Yeah. I think to put a little bit more, zhuzh it up a little bit, I think even more of the heartbreak and stress of it comes from you attempt to disguise yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And there are several people, even on a rainy, shitty day, you're just walking through the streets to get out to the edge of the city where you can look off the wall, and there's 5 or 10 people that stop you and are like, oh, you're one of the pilots. You're Malphus. We saw your induction ceremony. And then full on salutes and
civilians saluting.
Yeah. I knew that would trigger you specifically.
You shouldn't have been carrying that Dunkin' Donuts cup.
Right? Yeah. Something give me away. Yeah. No. And Malphus has he has enough. I guess, guilt that nope, I am gonna talk to these people, and yes, and it's the super forced smile while behind is just
it's dead eye, but smile below. Yeah.
Yep.
Great, love that.
Jeez.
What you got? Why is this so hard for Janice?
Oh, jeez.
What's going on in her life?
Janice is pining.
You're back in a city, and you're
back
surrounded by food and substances and consorts and adoring fans.
I would like to think that there's been a shift, that one thing Janice didn't take with her is the same likes and dislikes. So the things that helped her relieve stress before just are not working.
Ooh.
Where she would go and maybe have a beverage she preferred. Not necessarily she was an alcoholic, but she'd like to have fun, right? But it did not work. Made her sick to her stomach to drink alcohol, for example, right? Exercising the same way doesn't relieve stress. Running as much or other activities. Writing the same way didn't. She actually doesn't like the kind of poetry she liked before, which was like a little sweet thing she kept to herself, despite her boisterous personality, right? She was also somewhat studious, and she's interested in different things, though she retains that interest in research and knowledge. Still, her it doesn't appeal to her the same way. So she has not found a way to function and decompress because nothing that she knows how to do actually works. And she's come to realize that she came too late to adjust well. She thought she came early enough that if not that it was her choice necessarily, but if she came as a child, she would learn these coping skills. But the coping skills she developed in the other timeline just don't work here. And she came into this timeline after she had come as an adult, after she had already been a person who had been relatively well formed. So now she's having to go through some new childhood in a way. She's naive about what it means to be a person and how to soothe herself. And although she is met with this wealth of opportunity, she doesn't know what to choose. So she ends up just repeatedly making mistakes and feeling disappointed.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that's got me a little bit. I mean, just the coping strategy not working anymore.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Oh god, what are you supposed to do?
From a neurodivergent perspective.
Yeah.
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 So that's just. I think it's just a picture. Since this game and everything is so based in anime, I like to make sure we're talking about it in scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think
awesome.
for this is a bit of a slow sad vignette of just a little bit of a slow but angsty kind of background track. And it's just several days of just things not going right and just frustration and throwing a smoothie against the wall because it doesn't taste good.
Yes.
Even though it used to be your favorite and
yes.
If I could offer a little flavor, sun being more physically stuff, maybe because you can't do your normal stress relief, you're just working yourself really hard.
Oh yeah.
To replace the battery recharge with just exhaustion.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting to, especially when you said the exercise of whether it was a jog or rowing or something like that, and just absolutely throwing yourself into it until you're someone has to get you back to your room.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Craig, you just got a little babe, just a one. Just a one.
Saraia
One
harmonizes with the universe.
What does a one stress look like?
I think that this is Sanya and Saraia having an argument.
Ooh, yeah.
About getting Icarus up and running.
Okay.
Because now there's two engines that she just can't use, and she's not really compatible personality-wise with Medea or Sisyphus. That's kind of limiting her options a lot. So it's either Nemesis, which no. Icarus is the only real option. Is Saraia's stance. We need to get Icarus up and running because I can do so much better with an engine that gets me and I get.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think there's a big scene where and I think with Sadar's being panic and social pressure, I think it's you are struggling to get your point across and make it understood to this mechanic who doesn't get the it's bigger than just get in the robot and save people. And so I think if I can paint Saraia's emotions a little bit, you correct me if I'm wrong or whatever, but I think you get to that point where you're just you've said the same thing in the argument multiple times, and you're so frustrated you can feel like tears about to well up and stuff like that. And Sonya is just like, okay, don't cry about it. Like, we'll see what we can do. I'll try and help you get some resources. Like, and then just like looks around, and there's like the entire one entire leg of Icarus is like doesn't have any plating on it and stuff like that. Because Icarus is unfinished.
Yeah.
Is an unfinished masterpiece. So
Baby
it's like
C3PO.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good. I was gonna go with like an unfinished statue in like Renaissance workshop, where it's like the face is great, but like below the neck we haven't even started yet. So I don't know what you're talking about. Like piloting it, like
the leg is still a block.
Yeah. And I think the reason why it's less
just
of
quick that there's a little cut scene as she says you don't have to cry about it. There's like 30 frames overlaid on the screen of all these different people throughout her career have said those exact words to her because she's a crier.
Yeah, it's just like reverberating.
Yes,
like in her head, like hearing that over and over again
as a chorus of "You don't have to cry about
it." Somewhere in there, it's "I'll give you something to cry about."
Oh,
yes.
But I think the reason why it's only a one stress is that Sonya does say like, "Hey, I'll talk to Persephone about it." I'm sorry, Major Persephone, and we can try and get some resources going. And because you're right, we need to try and make this happen, especially if whatever is happening to Diana goes badly. Cool. Downtime.
Yeah.
What y'all got going on? I realized that the sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought.
No worries.
I realized that the Last Bastion is supposed to go first for its downtime actions.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that could influence ours.
But I don't know that I like that.
Because
then, like, essentially the first time would be it just does the make the Leviathan scarier 3 times in a row.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Strange to me.
So
I think
could be
what
cool.
we'll do is I'll still have it go before y'all so we can set some things up. But if one of y'all commits to making a project, I can let it do one of those actions.
Okay.
Like a repair track for a repair clock for Icarus.
That's just going to be the bond.
Okay.
The projects are all basically the upgrades to the flagship.
Yeah. There's the same way you would help a friend recover is how you can do that with an engine. Okay. And that's just doing repairs and bonding with it to make it stronger. And so basically every time you hit a 4 o'clock on that, it'll get a strength back up.
Okay. So just from Saraia's perspective, getting the mess hall up and running to make it easier to make connections would be a big motivator for her if anyone else is on board with that. I know there's a lot more stuff we need to do to make the ship more battle ready. But
you called it. It leads to engineering and power source stuff. Like
Yeah, power source seems good. 2 ticks of recovery for an engine, for all the engines automatically between missions seems kind of cool.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to start doing mess hall, absolutely. So we to do a 3 dice. Would someone like to roll?
Yeah.
Craig, are you saying that's going to be one of your actions to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and make a roll for the Last Bastion for that?
Sure.
3 dice.
Tree. Roll that tree.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
6. Cool. So Last Bastion, everyone starts working on getting a big fancy mess hall. And maybe it's not a mess hall in this situation since it's like for the pilots and crew and everything, but maybe it's a little bit more like formal and stuff like that.
The officer's a mess.
Yeah. That could be cool. Do that. Put a note in here. Yeah, so I think as you all are going through your downtime and everything, you're seeing this new project start to be built and like, oh, okay. I mean, we already have like room service all the time whenever we need it, but like a public place to actually sit down and have meals together and like make
Like the 10 forward
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
concept, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Seems cool. I think especially Malphus has probably has some feelings about like this seems like a waste of resources, but like I guess is because I think Malphus deals with a lot of feelings of like they're wasting resources on me. But maybe can see why it might be beneficial in the long term.
Everybody else seems so excited about it, so fuck it.
Cool. All right. So whoever wants to do their downtime. If you got ideas for scenes or settings or roles or what we're doing?
I already know what I have Malphus planned to do, which is spending 1 downtime action in the new training facility and punching his emotions out. And so that's just 2 XP into Sun. There's no rule for that, right? Okay.
Yep,
and then
just plus 2 XP.
Right. And then what is the role for bonding with an engine?
You tell me how you want to bond with it.
Sweet. Yeah,
just like all these downtime rolls, you tell me what action it is and then describe that, and as long as it fits,
right, then
it's great.
So I thought. And for me, it's going to be conceal, because he's going to bond with Nemesis, because this is the he's happy to fly Medea. He's not allowed anywhere near Sisyphus. Go ahead.
You mean help a friend recover,
right? For Nemesis?
Yes.
That would also work.
Because it currently has no strength.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Bond is the one that makes connections. Help
Bond
recover.
Makes links, help us recover.
Yep. So yes, I will be helping recover.
Okay.
That still apply to
last pilot died, right? That's what happened with Nemesis. Nemesis was a recovered engine in the last.
It got. So. Yeah, it has been repaired. It has not started working again.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's right.
And yeah, so for Malphus, this is a hey, I too have lost somebody. Let's talk about that. And I for in my head, this is Malphus doing base level. It's that pilot checking over fighter jet. No, he's not a mechanic, but he does the eye check and stuff like that. And rather than talk about his feelings to anybody, he's talking to the only person he knows, or the only thing that he knows can understand his pain. A inanimate machine. Though they're obviously more than that.
So the conceal here is that you're concealing what you're doing from other people.
And notably concealing his emotions from others, but this is him verbalizing them to the machine where nobody else can hear, kind of thing.
Right. I was clarifying because what you described that you were doing to the mech is very confess. But the action of it being, you don't want people to truly see that you're like emotionally bonding with this engine and stuff like that. Because I think, and I like this, that the kind of developing this sort of flavor that we've kind of caught on is that the only ones that realize there's this like emotional like transcendence to being a pilot and bonding with the engines are the ones that have done the piloting.
Right.
I like that. Like, it fits very in the like seeing the game through a queer lens of like, you can't, you can be an ally, but like, oof.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes.
Hit me with that roll.
4.
A 4.
A 4.
1 die. See, Drew can roll 1 die and not get a 1.
That's right.
All right.
Yes, he can.
So
yes,
that
he
can. 3 segments.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So most of the way to a strength back.
Nice. And as soon as it has 1 strength, it's usable, right?
Yep.
You may not want to take it up with only 1 strength, but
yeah, it means that like you lose that strength, and it's gonna be a problem again. But
yep.
Stuff.
And now it's your problem.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think there's a couple times where people are like close to like, they're like walking by and giving you a funny look, and then you're just like, oh, you're just checking over, like, you know, you pull one of the red flight tags,
right,
wave it around like, oh, just
looking at it, seeing
just pilot stuff.
Yep. You wouldn't understand.
Saraia, what you got?
I want to work on strength restore for Icarus.
Okay.
Leaning into empathize. Does that make sense? Trying to, I know this is a big ask and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much like this is a unfinished, untested engine. Like, empathizing with it, like, hey, I need you to start getting it together so we can do what we're made to do.
Controlled?
Oh, it doesn't matter because it's downtime.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter?
Nope. All that matters is the actual die roll itself.
Okay. Hey.
5. So same thing. 3 segments. Got that. I think y'all want this to be on the same day?
Yep.
It's one of the reasons why I did that, because between Janice bonding with Diana and Saraia talking about hanging out with Icarus, I was like, okay, I'll put myself where I can be found.
Yeah, so I think Icarus and Nemesis are down at like one end of the hangar, like further in from the like launch bay or whatever. And because I think the flight, the Argo like has a dock that like seamlessly blends into like your area of the city and stuff like that. So
of course,
you can just be like straight in and go and launch and stuff like that. And I think you in a like, I think I'm picturing like folding back and like the engines are like on display, like statuary sort of.
Yep.
So that people that have clearance to be in this but aren't part of the Argo's crew can like come by and look and watch and
Like you can probably
sort
see
of
them
pay their
from
respects and stuff. Yeah,
like
you can probably see them from a
rooftops.
ways away,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Because I don't know if we established like a scale for these things yet.
Yeah, for me,
I think we
I'm
just said really big.
Course.
But
We
Yeah.
talked course scale.
Yeah.
Did we what?
We talked about it in course terms.
Oh yeah. But I mean, for me, yeah, they're buildings, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think 50 feet
Mm-hmm.
is probably a
Easy.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That like core sphere of where the engine is the pilot sits in is probably, depending on the model and stuff like that, like 20, 35 feet up in the air. Within more like, shoulders and head and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, depending on the
Model. Yeah.
what it looks like and stuff. Do y'all want to establish as you're making these repairs and bonding and stuff like that what these what are we looking at with Nemesis and Icarus?
Oh yeah. What the engines themselves look like. Yeah. In my head, Nemesis is just like some. I mean, it's me. Hi. Some like super sleek, really lean. Like it looks like it is a blade. It's humanoid and stuff like that, but like every edge of it, I mean, it is the edgelord. It's called Nemesis for crying out loud, right? It's fierce, it's haunted. Yeah, it's just like it's a lot of black, armor plating, and then steels has got this kind of black and silver kind of vibe to it, and just lots of edge, and probably doesn't even have a weapon. It just throws itself bodily at things because it's fierce.
like the Dragoon version of an engine.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's probably got a weapon.
Okay. That's true. Because
was it Medea you were in last time?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because Medea doesn't.
Right. Yeah, and that's feral. That's true.
Feral, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe even perhaps just to keep on that vibe, some like rapier-esque, like, yeah.
I like that.
Ooh, is the weapon shaped like Nemesis? Yes. Pulling out a sword that looks like Nemesis? Do it.
Great.
That's Ed. Come on, Edgelord.
Maybe a two.
I look like a sword and I wield myself. I will cut you with me.
I don't mean that Nemesis literally looks like a sword, but it's
no,
just
I
all edge.
know.
Okay.
I understood the aesthetic. I knew you didn't mean specifically that Nemesis looks like a claymore walking around with legs. I'm just trying to offer a humorous endowment.
Aegis / asp.
Yes. That's right.
How about Icarus there, Craig?
I think Icarus looks almost angelic.
Ooh, cool.
Large, expansive wings off the back. Its primary weapons would be like energy weapons, beams from the hands kind of thing, going with the sun sort of theme.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And like golden or brassy sort of color to it.
Very warm then.
Yeah. A warm white and gold palette. I imagine it's a little bit on the smaller side, since it's meant to be like fast and stuff like that. So on the smaller side here, being like 40 feet, but then this like you can tell you haven't seen the wings go to full expansion, but you can tell that they're big.
And in my head, the wings are sort of unfinished, like they haven't had all the parts put on them or something.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Very, very, maybe even almost like a not wireframe, but like you had the frame structure, but no covering on
scaffold.
them. Yes, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So as these, hold on 1 second. Come back to that. Is Janice doing anything in the hangar bay
Yes.
for a downtime action?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and do that, and then I will set this scene.
Cool. So, Janice is accepted that things aren't going to be the same, and realizes, wait a minute, I might be thinking about this wrong by trying to reach Malphus, by trying to learn about him and understand the way he is here. The way I reached him there was or what she thinks she needs to do now is understand him in the way she should have understood him before. But at the end of, all of this time, realizing that she is also an anachronism, right? The Malphus she knows here doesn't match her perceptions of him. And who she thought herself to be also doesn't match who she functions to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So as she comes to grips with that, she realizes, wait a minute, bonding with Diana made me think that, hey, I felt so offended by Diana not accepting me because of who I thought of myself from the previous timeline. So maybe I am also different in ways I don't understand. And maybe the way to do that is to try and link up with something I wouldn't expect. So she's going to try and bond with Sisyphus, because Sisyphus as well is representing a task or representing the escape of death, right?
Absolutely.
And also consciously, of course, this is motivated by some desire to connect with Malphus, but her conscious thought process is, all right, Malphus is different. I'm necessarily different. This task is just going to be a tiresome chore, never pleasant. Why don't I connect to an engine that represents that experience?
So,
all right.
What action are we doing?
This is going to be leaning on her. Downtime action is, I think, make a connection, right?
Yeah, I meant what skill.
Oh, skill. Sorry. I misunderstood. Of course. I think this is going to be analyze. I think she's going to yield herself into, all right, you know what? I'm ignorant. I thought I knew how to handle all this. Why don't you tell me who I am?
Deep in the logs, deep in the data.
Yeah.
Finding out what this engine can do, and then probably talking to it as well. But
yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Let me understand the secrets you hold.
Yeah.
That will help me understand who I am.
I love it.
Cool. Alrighty. Let's roll it up.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, that was a resistance roll. Sorry.
It's still a 6.
Roll another dice.
Okay.
Yeah, because you should have 2 dice for analyze.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant to roll. Yep, I rolled resistance instead of rolling analyze. Yeah. Just click on stars. Staying fortune roll.
Well,
there we
go.
Another
hot 6, then.
Yep, give it to me. Come on. 5.
So close.
So close, baby.
Close.
Still
close.
6.
Still a 6, exactly. So that will give you. This does get a bonus die.
Oh, sweet.
Sisyphus appreciates your clever approach.
Fantastic.
So
I roll one more die then. Yes. Come on now. Give it to me.
Chris says, I want to see this crit.
Yeah, we gotta see a crit.
Well, you know how I do with individual dice. For shits and giggles, I'm going to roll 3. I understand that probabilistically this is not the representation of what would have happened. Yeah. I just want to see. That's hilarious.
No. Roll 20 says no.
Roll 20 says no.
You know who you are.
Cool. So that's going to be 4 links with Sisyphus.
Great. Cool.
Which you can spend at any time on the things that we've established you can spend them on.
Okay, gotcha. I thought if I make a connection, they get the links.
When you make a connection with the engine,
you
can spend them on yourself while you're piloting the engine.
That's right, while piloting. Perfect. Yeah. Excellent on any of the functions. Cool. Excellent. That's wonderful.
You're spending them as if someone is helping you.
Gotcha. Okay, that's right. I forgot that. Right. Thank you for clarifying.
It's the engine backing you up a bit. So yeah, it's one of those things where y'all have had most of a week of downtime. There's been things happening in the background. Mm-hmm. You're sheltered from a lot of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the politics that are above your pay grade, and you're kind of expected to be indulging in all of the sort of lap of luxury that you're provided with.
I would bet there's an unspoken rule among all the factions that they don't pull the pilots into political stuff, even.
Oh yeah, that would
Yeah,
make sense.
I think that's probably well expected, because that's not what you want to be doing, right?
Right.
Yeah, no.
They recognize that their scheming is still subject to, being alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, getting in the way of the pilots doing things, is not generally a winning move. So, like I said, most of a week has been going on, and you all find yourself at various points in the hangar gallery, so to speak, these works of art, and working on some repairs. And there's a lot of, like, both with Nemesis and Icarus, there are a lot of other people working on these things with you, right? This is like large crews of people working to get things done. And at one point, you are called over to there's like a office is not the right term, but like sort of a central desk area, where a lot of the planning and stuff is happening, to report to Major Persephone. And all three of you are asked to put in some
We'll do so.
FaceTime with the sort of, and you all know both by reputation and having interacted with her before that she is a veteran pilot. And she is head of the mechanics specifically that get deployed with the Argo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So whereas Arsinoe has sort of the political faction of the mechanics and engine developers and stuff like that, and some of those people do come on and work on the projects and stuff like that with you, Persephone has her crew that she's in charge of under the command structure of the Argo.
Awesome.
And functionally, she's in charge of all of the engines, right? There is definitely some headbutting structural things going on between her and Ephialtes. With him being like her superior, but mostly in charge of like you all, like the pilots, right?
Yes.
But like the pilots are the ones that pilot the engine, so naturally the engines come under his command as well, right?
Right. They're the tools of the pilots.
And so.
And Ephialtes was never a pilot, right? Sorry.
Ephialtes was not a pilot at all.
Considering the reference.
That is something. Yes, very much so. Ephialtes is like a 3-layer reference because there's multiple Ephialtes in Greek history and also mythology. So read into that and all layers of how much you want to read into it.
I mean, there's considering we're playing a queer game, there's definitely a an aspect there that I was grasping.
So at the big, without making it comedic, the episode of Parks and Rec where what's his name? Where Ron Swanson has the circle desk in the middle of the room is essentially what she has going on, and like all of it is like Tony Stark tech.
Oh yeah,
like virtual projection stuff, and she's spinning models of various parts of like Icarus's wings around and stuff like that. And the three of you report up, and I'm assuming, well, you know what, you tell me what's the sort of vibe of how you approach like officers and stuff like that. How structural, how much buy-in do you give off, do you display?
Persephone is the only, and other former pilots are the only ones that Malphus is like, I will actively listen to what you are saying before potentially dismissing it. as opposed to all the others. It's like, is this actually useful information? He like Malphus will walk out of meetings with Elfialtes. He's like, you are talking just to hear yourself talk. I'm out. And just walk away. It's like, what are you going to do? Throw me in the brig? Okay.
Yeah. For man who's
Like,
unafraid
very-
of consequences, consequences have little weight.
How about for Saraia?
I think Saraia is generally quite guarded around the officer corps, trying to keep a low profile, and is aware that there's, if not open hostility, some smoldering resentment in a lot of cases, and she's sort of come to expect that and understands where it's coming from. So she tries not to give them anything to hang on to. Right, keep the bumps and nodes
That's
all
true.
sort of smooth and
Because the non-pilot officers and crew and stuff like that do not get the benefits that the pilots do. So there's probably,
Yep.
that's true. Yep.
Very much so. How about Janice?
Well, Janice lived one life of this where she was all in, right? Bathed in the celebrity. But considering we've established that the things that delighted her before all just leave a bad taste in her mouth now. Almost like, the inverse of a miracle berry. Everything that's sweet tastes sour for her. I think it is entirely perfunctory. Snap salutes. She's paying a little bit of attention, but definitely not investing so much. She seems strikingly indifferent. Not rude, but definitely it's clear that she doesn't really care. At the end of this week, she's in a state of ennui.
Okay. Persephone, Major Persephone greets you. Pilots. And she is a very, like, I think svelte's probably the right word.
Mhm.
Like, definitely used to be very like fit and toned and like in shape military sort of vibe. She's just at this point like in her 50s, and there's some of that like you can't keep that tone forever kind of thing.
It's too hard.
And like vibrant red hair starting to like streak of gray out and stuff like that. Without like losing its luster, like going to like bits of like silver and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Still glossy and shiny, just a
yeah,
different
exactly.
hue. That's very cool.
And with extremely piercing blue eyes. I think that's probably like the like even past the like really bright like voluminous hair is somehow like when you walk away from a conversation with her, there's something about like the
Elijah Wood effect.
Yes, that is extremely good. I like better like sums it up better than I could. Yeah. Having met him in person, yes, correct.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I lived in Austin.
Oh, okay.
sort of a
Local fixture.
Yeah, very much.
Gotcha.
So. One of 3 celebrities I met when I lived in Austin.
Cool.
And they're all fairly stereotypical Texas folks. I met the Undertaker.
Yes.
I met Elisha Wood in briefly passing, and then I waited on Matt McConaughey.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, but she greets you and gives you a brief rundown of current day's progress of various projects, stuff like that, and then asks if you have anything to report of from the last mission, bringing up some readouts and runbacks of the battle data, so to speak. Anything that stood out, any performance issues, anything like that. She does turn to Saraia. It's obviously we know we're looking into what exactly happened with Diana upon return, but if anything before that stood out, or if you need to clear up anything for my reports.
A clarification then. It was my understanding that we had standing orders to try and recover samples whenever possible for further study. Is that still the case, or should we not?
Yes, pilot, you are correct. Absolutely try and recover. I think this is a certainly a new and undiscovered development. Frankly speaking, the three of you put out one of the more decisive results we've had in a while. And you are to be commended for that.
Would happen more often if I could get Sisyphus.